Great. Brilliant. Thanks very much. Cool. So I'll just get started. So everybody, I've got Michael Rada here today, who is the father of Industry 5, and we're going to be talking about all things to do with the fifth industrial revolution, stroke Industry 5. And so thank you very much for joining me, Michael. So just to begin with, would you like to give a little bit of a background of yourself and your career, and where you are in terms of developing your argument towards the Industry 5?
Okay, thank you very much, Karen, to have me on your podcast. It's very interesting for me. First time in UK, and okay, let's start about my career. I am almost 50, and generally I am for 30 years I am in business. 23 years I spent mainly with logistic, international trade, and support, but the logistic was the biggest part of my work. And within this time, I spent a lot of time in factories, in companies, and in 2010, I realized that there is something wrong. And the wrong was, at the time, was a project related to wooden pallets. And the wrong part was that even I'm help and my project helped to manage the returnable pallets, there still was a lot of, means about 3,000 to 5,000 a month, single-use wooden pallets. And at that time, I realized that there is nobody in the world who take care about the waste prevention on industrial level. And I was horrified. So I spent a few more years in a company which I was working in. At that time, it was a Sumitomo Corporation, the second largest Japanese corporation. And then I decided to leave the company and start really changing the world by inventing, implementing, and developing tools for systematic waste prevention. The tool which I developed, I named it in 2013 industrial upcycling. And this industrial upcycling, after I implemented in several projects, it turned, based on the indication from my clients, it turned into Industry 5.0, which, and just now let me slightly correct your words, Industry 5.0 is not the fifth industrial revolution. It is not. But it is the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human, and this is very important. Because if you take into account and if you study the industrial revolutions from 1 to 4, you will find out they are shorter and shorter. The first one was about 126 years, but the second 60. And the last one, Industry 4.0, was introduced in 2013 or 11 unofficially, but in 2013 officially in Germany. But I did introduce Industry 5.0 into 2015 already, which means the timing was just 2 years before introduction. And this is very interesting. The introduction of Industry 5.0 was done because there is a system mistake in Industry 4.0. And the mistake is in missing the function of people. Because to say it very simple, and I do really simplify the Industry 4.0 to minimum. Generally, Industry 4.0 is the digitalization and automatization of work, which means, to say very simply, every work will be done by machine or technology, and the people will just enjoy the life without generally working. But this does not work, because the work for a man is a big part of our life, and it is very important. And as Carl Gustav Jung says in great interview, I will send you the link after, in 1959, he ended his interview with following words: "The man cannot live meaningless life." And this is exactly what is Industry 4.0 trying to deliver. life without meaning. And I do not do it. I have only one aim for my work and for my business, and this is to create wasteless world. And this is what I do. And interesting about for some people may be that in 7 years, the work prevented over 1 million metric tons of products and material to become waste. So this is a little bit about the background and the reason why I decided to change the world.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. You've answered a couple of other questions that I was going to put in there as well. So if you had to describe yourself, what would you describe yourself as? Maybe Industry 5 activist or academic, or if you had to give yourself some kind of a label?
I have only one label on my business card, and this is human. Before there was a president, senior buyer, and whatever, a lot of functions, but I feel to be human, and I feel it since I really completely changed the style how I am working and living. And it is one more very important thing. I am not doing my work on academic level. I am educating, that's true, but I'm only sharing the experience from physical projects. So I change the world with my hands, and then I speak about with my mouth, because I have the ability to find the right words to speak to the right people, to change the minds. But firstly, the work has to be done and realized for me, then I can speak about it. I don't speak about plans, and so, no, there's no sense, because if you see the result, you will understand immediately. If you speak about plans, you can speak for ages and nothing will happen. And this is not the way I am working.
Great. So the next question you've slightly answered a little bit. So considering that each industrial revolution has arisen over a shorter and shorter time period, how long do you think the Industry 5 will last, and what might lead to the changes in society?
I love this question. To be honest, I love it, because in 2018, when I have a speech in France, in Fashion Tech conference, same topic, but aimed to the fashion business, I get a question, Mr. Rada, how will look Industry 6.0? And to be honest, I did not have the answer. I was very surprised, but I promise that I will come back, and I have the answer now, so I can answer your question. Industry 5.0 is evolution. It will be here forever. It will not change, because my role model is the nature. It's not the billionaires or Elon Musk or Bill Gates, no. They have just money, nothing else. But the nature is here forever. There will be evolution, of course. We will have new machines, we will have new technologies, but I hope it will never turn into the digitalization of human being, because it seems for many to be the next step. After digitalization of work, we will digitalize the man, but I don't want to be digitalized. Yeah. I don't want to live in virtual world. I have the physical one. Of course, sometimes I do not have anything to eat. It's fine. It's part of my life and of the experience. It's very important. And there will be the evolution of Industry 5.0, we will just use new methods. We will use new technologies, but we will keep in mind the same. We have to prevent waste happen. We should not waste, because there is only one planet we can live on. Currently, it's carrying 7.7 billion people, the planet. And we behave like it's a trash bin in a global landfill, and this is wrong. And I am very happy that Industry 5.0, especially in connection with COVID-19, it made such a big change that there has been more than 400 conferences and events all around the world. speaking about the potential of Industry 5.0 in a way of post-pandemic recovery. And this is very strong. What is interesting, it has not been pushed by money or financial. All the 7 years, we developed this without any third-party funding or incentives or whatever. No investors. Only money which we generate has been put back to the project, and we generate it through the project. So it's sustainable on financial, so as material way. And I don't know whether it answered your question. I hope so. So there will be Industry 5.0 is here forever. Only it will have more branches and more hands.
Brilliant. You've actually answered the next question as well, which it was, can you explain a little bit by why Industry 5 is an evolution and not a revolution? And why is this difference significant? So I think you pretty much just answered that one with that question. So how do you see the divide in Industry 5 between AI and corporate control and the humanistic side developing? So the two different sort of splits that could happen.
Currently, it is important to understand that if we are speaking about Industry 5.0, it's not just speaking about industry as we imagine, chimneys and machines. No, Industry 5.0 is a complete global environment, which means people, politics, industries, leisure, everything connected without any borders, which results in effect, or in the answer to your question, there will be a lot of has to change from a scratch and start from scratch, same as the Industry 5.0 did. It was a blue ocean project. Nobody cared before. What I worry about, or at the beginning, what I was not aware of, that, for example, the waste industry, which is the third most profitable industry in the world, why all the managers which I spoke to, and it was a senior management of really global companies, why they refused to support me, support the project of building wasteless world. And I did not know that. For a year, I struggled with it. And then I recognized one important thing. The core business of waste industry is to manage the waste. If there will be no waste, there will be no need for a core business of waste industry. And I am sorry to say, but recycling is a lie. It's a great idea, but in the hands of waste industry, it only generates bigger volumes of waste. And in UK, you are sitting in UK. Since the introduction of recycling, your waste volumes, waste means non-recyclable plus recyclable, your waste volumes increased, not decreased, increased by 80%.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is unbelievable because there are many things applied from the old way. So, for example, if you have more waste, no matter which color they have, you will fill them. It's in your head. It's in your mindset. You have more, you have to fill. If you give a logistician more space, more warehouse, he will fill it. This is our ability. We fill the space. And the same is with the waste. So you generate more, which means we will use more heuristic approach. We will use more non-traditional business approach. But still, I know when I started, I have behind me 23 years of global business. I know what is accounting, what is sales, I know all these practices. So Industry 5.0 was built to be understood by industries, by factories, by business owners. When I enter a company, I ask only one question, and usually the CEO or COO, do you want to generate waste or profit? And in 7 years, I get only one answer. Of course, profit. Then why do you generate waste is my question. And so we came, and this is so easy to stop generate waste. It's really not difficult. I will show it maybe during the interview. It's really simple if you do understand what waste means. And just now, I would like to point one more thing, which is important to this question. Please do not understand as waste only the trash, the physical trash. No. Industry 5.0 understand 4 types of waste. The first is trash. This is something what we throw away in garbage bin. But the second one, it's so-called social waste. These are people who would like to work but have no possibility. They are too young, too old, they are ill, they have wrong skin color. There are many aspects why you can say, no, I don't want you, even if you would like to. The third one is urban waste. There is increasing number of brownfields in the cities, social so as industrial ones, and at the same time in the same cities, green fields are built, consuming land and water and everything instead of reutilizing the brownfields. So this is the third waste. And the fourth, it's everywhere, even in bank and everywhere. It's so-called process waste. We do a lot of things not efficient way. We really waste our time, and the process of generating waste, in my eyes, is wasting. So wasting of resources, wasting of time, wasting of everything. Just one crazy number. European Union measured how many trucks empty are running within European Union. You will not believe 64% of the trucks are empty on the roads. So the damage on the road is not done by the overweighted trucks. No, I am for 30 years in logistics. It's done by the frequency of empty trucks. If you cut 50% away, how will your highway look like? Many cars, I'm riding electric unicycle in the cities. 95% of cars, no matter which one, has only one passenger, and this is the driver. And this is one of the wastes which Industry 5.0 is facing. So this is just for the explanation to the approach.
Great, thanks. Do you think that corporations will relinquish their power and control eventually?
Yes. I don't think about it. They want it. There was a big change. When I started, nobody even considered that waste can be prevented. They said it's impossible to prevent waste happen. But so I know I was ahead of the market. I expected to be 10 years ahead. But with COVID-19, and already in 2018, there was a first event on the European Commission ground called Industry 5.0. Last year was the second. They did not invite me in because they know my approach is very, very, very different. But I am the founder. There was nobody before me who published the principles of Industry 5.0. I did it on December 1st, 2015. So they cannot say it's not my child, and it is my child. I feel like that because it helped to really 1 million metric tons. This is something what even the biggest players, including the corporations, already consider there is a lot of money. What is even more interesting for them is the fact that globally, we need 5 years to calculate this number. Globally, industries can save by preventing waste happen $475 trillion a year. And what is not included are 3 industries: war industry, oil industry, and waste industries. These 3 are not included. So we can almost probably, if these 3 will be included, we can triple the original number or even more, because it's so huge potential that we have the money, we just have it under the carpet, we walk on it, we don't see it. And this is the big difference. So yes, the corporation will be interested. Some of them already are interested. And what is even more important for me, first governments turn to consider to implement Industry 5.0 in a legal frame of their own countries. We talk with New Zealand, with Australia recently. I hope UK government will be on. We are talking in US, in India. So many to consider, because what is even more interesting, you do not have to invest money and you get the result. You have to invest time and generally use your brain to change this, but not the money. This is interesting. And this is the very opposite to Industry 4.0. Because if you would like to implement Industry 4.0, you have to buy the robot, technology, machine, whatever, first. And then maybe you will have the output. In Industry 5.0, we save 50 million crowns, which is about 2 million pounds, without any investment, just changing the process. And this was very interesting and new to Japanese manager. He did not understand how it can happen, but it works.
Great. So, what do you think we can do to enable and empower individuals and local communities from this?
First of all, we have to understand what is waste. This is very important, and please have in mind that I'm speaking about all these 4 types of waste. I will show you now how you prevent waste happen. It's a visual part, and I hope you will see, because I don't see the camera. I don't see me on a camera because of the recording. So just imagine, we see each other. Just a moment, I will try something. Yes, okay, then I will see. So just imagine we will meet for the first time. And I am used to hand you over my business card. So I hand it over to you, you take it, everything is fine. Please, right now, erase the memory. We never met before. We come closer again, and somebody put in between us, in the middle, new garbage bin. Don't ask why, we don't care. I come to you, I fall down, so as the business card, and it fall down in a garbage. I have no second one, I apologize, I'm sorry. But you won't have to my business card. We look inside the garbage bin, okay, it's clean and new. I take it out, I check it again. You say it's fine, I hand it over to you. But if you take it from me, you take, at least in Czech Republic and in UK will be very similar, you take with it a penalty right for 10 million crowns. Do you know why?
No.
Because you take waste and you do not have the right. The law has very special definitions for waste. One of them is waste is something what you would like to get rid of. It doesn't say whether it's from paper, metal, whether it's living. Even if my wife get a divorce from me and she would like to get rid of me, according to the law, I become waste. It's fact, and it's every legislation, it's very similar. So this definition I call, sorry to say, stupid. There is a second one, which is better. Waste is something what you place on a location dedicated for waste storage, which means garbage bin is a place dedicated for waste storage. So my business card fall down in this place. I have the right to take it out. I have the right, I have the stamp, I can do it. I don't want it, but to protect my business, I arranged it. But you do not have the right. And this is how a product becomes waste. It has nothing to do with the functionality, with the material, with use, potential. No, it has nothing to do with it. Again, there is nothing written about this. Waste become everything what you put in a garbage. And just now I will show you how you prevent waste happen. So you have the business card, below is the garbage bin, and just stretch your hand, nothing more. If you stretch your hand and you catch the product in the middle there, you do not have waste. You have still the product, and you do not have cost connected to the waste management for dispatch, landfilling, and whatever. No, you have still the product. Okay, maybe you do not need my business card, but maybe you can use it as a bookmark in your book. It's fine. Or you can make something different out of it, but still it's not waste. And this is the way how you prevent waste happen. You can do it with one business card. You can do it with full factory. You can do it with full production of a company. You can do it with car. You can do it with city, with a nation, and with the full globe. The system is all the time the same. Please do not understand it's so easy. It is not. From the logistic point of view, I do educate logistic efficiency and innovations for a long time. So I'm a specialist in this. It's a very, very sensitive topic and very hard to set up the logistic correctly. But the system remains the same. Just catch it. Cut the stream between product and waste. Stretch your hand. And this is what the communities can do. Firstly, everyone has to learn that waste is wrong. It's not a common or a habit. It's a mistake and it's a failure of our behavior. So this is first thing. And if you do recognize that I have a methodology called 6R, which helping. If you recognize this fact, please just prevent waste happen. Just stretch your hand. Do not throw it immediately if you do not need it. Offer it to somebody. Have it on your desk. Put it somewhere. This is a plastic box with a lid. From China, there came a sensitive electronic part in it to the factory. The factory unpack it, take it out, and throw this away immediately without thinking. Yeah. I was in a factory which there came a full truck of radish refused by a retailer, that the leaves are not green enough. Do you know what happened with that? Immediately thrown full truck of really good radish thrown in a garbage. One stitch on a car carpet is wrong, the whole carpet is thrown away. If you see what I have seen in the factories, sometimes I am almost crying when I see which amount of waste and wasting is being produced. And one of the worst I have seen is the food waste, because I don't know if do you know how much from a global food waste make the rest on the plates? So something what you do not eat. Do you know how much percent?
I know it's sick, but I'm not quite sure the exact number.
It's just 2%. But 75% of crop never reaches second stage of productions. If we utilize this overproduction, there will be nobody in the world hungry, not a single person, because we are throwing away 75% of food we are producing. 75%. Wow. And with water, unfortunately, it's very similar. And we do not have any, we cannot produce water. So this is why I am not concentrating only on one product or no. Industry 5.0 is a global ecosystem. And only because we are living in one home, and this is our planet, we do not have I don't care whether it's called UK, Czech Republic, or America. It's just one planet. And this is what I am trying to change.
Great. So on your social media platforms, you place a huge amount of emphasis on the cutting down of waste. What kind of tools and technologies do you think will support this?
All the new technologies are good if we do understand that they are here to serve us, that it's not us to serve them. So this is the first understanding. If you have a smartphone, it's great. And do you know, I make an analyze how many times I do open my smartphone per day. I did it when a new Android system came, and it was 173 times per day in average.
Wow.
That's unlocking the phone. And at the time, I said to me, that's not right. I am addicted. And I go to my cupboard and I took out my old Nokia 6310i. Interesting. I switched it on and there was 80% of battery after 10 years. And I give me a task. Can I live in 2019 3 months with this phone as a main phone? Of course, I use this one as a phone list because here fits only 99 contacts, but I have here 3,000. And I use this as a camera. But all the rest I did with this. And I have learned since that trial, I call this mobile phone a wise phone. This is a smartphone, but this is a wise phone because he teach me how to behave with a phone. And I have learned that the issue why I open it 173 times.
Oh, I think you've just cut out there. Are you there? Oh, you're back.
Is it back? Yes. It's connected to notifications. And if you switch the notification off, and I left there only calling on phone, not any social media, and I left there only SMS. That's all what is notifying me. All the rest is switch off. Nowadays, I open the same smartphone in average 25 times a day. So please, let us use all what is existing, all the technologies, but use it a wise way, which means do not let the technology rule our lives, but let us decide what to do. We have to come back to logic. We are producing at the moment, we are producing for production. The quantity is a god, but that's wrong. We are not producing for consumption. There, even in UK, there are 3 big new car graveyards, which are full with cars bigger than a city, and they are sitting there being produced, but they are not intended to be sold. And similar happened to planes, with ships, with everything, with food. It's much more being produced than consumed because it's not matching. You know, I am a logistician, so I know how to match things. And I know that exist a predictive tools. In UK, it's a great company called Jaguar Apps, which is apps means advanced planning systems. They can tell you or your local shop how much yogurt they will sell the next day because they work with huge amount of data and predictive tools. And this is exactly right. So we have to do this way. So let's use what we have, but use it maybe sometime non-standard way. This is what I am doing, but use it wisely. Then it will work.
Great. So do you think that it is going to be possible to achieve zero waste within our lifetimes?
There will be waste. Waste will exist. What we will achieve in our lifetime will be one interesting thing. The waste industry will not rule our lives, which means we will achieve the significant, but really significant drop of waste volumes. And I am not speaking in turning waste just into recycling, because many of our minds, the waste industry changed the minds in the way that if you are sorting, you think you are recycling. That's not true. In Czech Republic, official numbers, we are recycling for 95%, I think, or some huge number. But in fact, it's just sorting. We recycle 2% of the collected. So we will learn how to utilize things. And I do believe that I will have a peak in the wasteless world, but still there will be a waste, but wisely produce waste, like our grandfathers, grandparents, and grandparents. For them, waste was shame. And the same we have to achieve now.
Right.
But it will not be zero waste. That's not possible.
Sure. Going back to the kind of split in Industry 5 between like the corporation side of it and maybe AI or the kind of humanistic approach, can you give any examples of movements that are happening or projects that are happening on Earth right now that are good examples of that beginning to happen?
There are many projects, but unfortunately part of the projects are just pretending to be. Regarding the systematic waste prevention, Industry 5.0 is the really only one existing. Circular economy, which seems to be same, but it's not. Because the circular economy try to really modify the complete economy, but needs a lot of investment at the start. And unfortunately, the idea of circular economy is 64 or 66 years old, but nothing happened. They are just turning in circles. But a good examples in UK, there is a company called, I'm not sure whether I will pronounce it right, Robur or some similar name. And this company is first in Europe certified to put plastic grains into the roads, into the asphalt, which makes the roads more silent and partly self-repairing. In Brazil and in India, this happened for 10 years already. The other interesting thing can be an Indian company which does produce similar thing,
Sure.
which is something like a block. And do you know what this is made out of? Dangerous waste out of Indian hospital. It's nothing dangerous with it. It's so-called heat compression technology. There are the single-use clothing and bed sheets and whatever, and packaging for the medicals and similar. And it's material which serves as a building material, as construction material. It's fire resistant. It's water resistant. It is bugs resistant generally. And if you don't need this one, you crash it and you make some new shape out of it. So, and there are many similar, but please, we have to be very careful about so-called pretended sustainability. This is what I see mostly in factories and in organization and in politics, including EU, UN, and whatever, that we pretend to be sustainable. We make plans for 2030, 2050, 2100, but generally we do not care. And unfortunately, I have to mention one thing, which is, from my point of view, which make one of the biggest damage to the global environment. And this is the CO2 emission trading, which started with the Kyoto Protocol in 1987. And last year was named by scientists the worst in human history regarding the pollution. And then COVID-19 came, need 1 month to clear up the sky, 2 months to clear up the waters, which means we try for 33 years through a political approach and so-called pretended sustainability, because CO2 emission trading is nothing else than putting price on evil. This is new age indulgences. You pay for making something wrong, and you pay in advance, and that's wrong because we live on one planet. And there are many examples. I'm trying all the time to connect the people. There is a vermicomposting. We can combine, for example, wind and solar energy. We can combine food processing and with other. We should learn to combine things which exist but are not being combined this way anytime before. We have to be creative, and this is even the part of it, of the Industry 5.0.
Great. So what do you see as the importance of physical tooling and tools in Industry 5?
That's one of the very important part, because we have to understand that the future will change with the hand of our work, with the work of our hands. And we need the tools. And we need to develop a creative tools. 3D printing, it's great. But if you look back in the history, in very, very old history, the very ancient people on a planet make bowls by making layers. It's called somehow, I don't not remember, it's a long time ago when I get this in school. We are repeating what already was here. Just what we have, it's new material. So we need tools. We have to develop the tools. It can be tools for thinking, so as tool for the hands. And this has to be developed. And we have to learn in past, because many tools already has been here. Only the creators did not have the materials and the knowledge we had. So let's utilize the old and build the future. Do not shame for the past. I'm not happy when I see statues being taken down. For one reason, we cannot change our past. We can learn from the history, but to learn, we have to see it. And if a man as a statue did something wrong, okay, let's put it on a table. Let's say this man was not only good, but he was a bad as well. But don't take the statue away. It will not change the history. If we do not learn from past, how we would like to avoid the same mistake to be done in the future. That's the important part which we have to realize.
Great. So how would you see physical tools being different, so on either side of the split, so maybe industry side or the kind of going down the humanistic path in the future? How would those tools maybe differ?
I think they will be, generally they will be the same, but we will maybe use it slightly different way. We will make it out of different material. That will be true. But the tools itself will remain a tool until we let the tool to manage our lives. If you look, many people wear smartwatches to track their activities, to tell them how long to sleep. It's not the man who decides about his time, it's his watch. That's wrong. This is a tool, which is a great tool. Nothing against the smartwatches, but it's a great tool only when we understand it as tool. In Czech, we say a fire is a good helper, but a very bad king. And this is exactly with the tools. It makes our lives easier, and our comfort zone is growing and make us lazy. No, I don't want to make life easier. I would like to make it more efficient, and this is the way the tools should be used.
Brilliant. So I'm pretty much, this is my last question. How might the kind of humanistic approach in Industry 5 democratize tooling and handcraft?
It visualizes the importance of a human and his work, the handcraft. Because before there was, it was the last what was interesting. In a factory, you speak only to CEO, you do not speak to the workers. But in fact, if there will be no CEO, nobody will recognize in the factory. If there will be missing 10 workers, the line will stop. So for me, I don't look at the people according to their function or their dress or volume of money or possession they have. No. For me, they are human beings. And if they should behave like human beings, which means every single job is important. Without the cleaning ladies, many companies and offices will end up their life after 1 month because it will be so dirty inside. But nobody take care about them, and that's wrong. And the same is about the age. According to the law and legislation in Czech Republic, when you are, I don't remember, 65, you will be retired. Generally, it means you will become social waste, and that's wrong. I see my parents. My grandfather is 97 years old, still active. 75 years he spent teaching others. We have 3 hours discussion about the change of political systems. My mother is 71. She can walk for 20 kilometers. My father is almost 80. He can ride a bike for 50 kilometers a day. We are not waste. It's not right, which means we have to change many things from scrap. Why should we have 8.5 hours working day? When we have computers, we have a lot of things. In Czech Republic, the 8.5 hour working day was introduced as a 37th law after the start of the country, which in 1918. But today, 102 years later, we still follow the same rules. So we do not use the utilization of our technology, of internet, of whatever. So it must be important. The human work is important. And we have to show its importance, because only human can put something what a machine will never do inside a product. The love. And if you buy something which is made by somebody with love, you will love the product. If the bread will be much more tastier. This is what should be back. And this is part of Industry 5.0 mindset.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for that answer. So, is there anything else that you think we've not covered that you want to add?
Just one thing. If anybody would be interested to learn more, please come back to me. You don't have to write me an email immediately, or just input my name. My name is Michael Rada in Google search, or do it Industry 5.0. I am sharing a lot of. I am sharing because I would like to teach, and I cannot be in UK with you. I would love to, but I cannot. I cannot be in US at the same day and in Japan. No. But we can share. And please find my name, share it with your network, because there is a way how to do it. Let's all of us prevent waste happen, and then not only me and you, we will see the wasteless world, not only our kids and grandchildren.
And is there a preferred way that you like to be contacted through, maybe LinkedIn or Twitter or anything like that?
I am almost on. I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I use almost all these communications tools. It doesn't matter. You can send me an email, michael.rada@gmail.com. You can call me. It doesn't matter. I have my company websites as well, but if you input my name, you will get to my, probably to my blog, because the first page, if you input Michael Rada in Google search, are only links to myself. It's not because I paid Google. It is because I write a lot. I'm writing since 1989, and last 6 years, I am having a daily blog in 2 languages. So I'm really trying to share. And please, I would like to wish to all, to you as well, have a beautiful days, free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Because only so we will live on the wasteless world.
Great. It's been really lovely chatting to you, Michael, and thank you very much for speaking with me today as well.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure. And I hope we will meet face to face one day and soon, and we will build a wasteless world together. Thanks, Karen.
That sounds great.
Have a nice day.
I'm just going to stop the recording there. So.